Orlando Pirates keep the title race on, and we have Kaiser Chiefs once again dropping points, fighting for the top 8 finish. Doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon. Welcome back, channels. Welcome back, guys, to the Disc Report, to another installment, another video where we're going to be covering the DSTV Premiership. Before we start, before we go any further, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video if you feel like you enjoy the content. At least it helps us to share, or the algorithm to keep on sharing the video to other prospects or other people who enjoy football content. Now, before we begin, just want to say congratulations to the under 17. I'm sure you guys are aware they're playing AFCON at the moment. They've won first games, drew the second game. They're currently underway with Burkina Faso. We just need a point, then we qualify for the under 17 World Cup. So all the best to Amachimbo. Okay, this weekend, just want to say Sundowns didn't play. The game was postponed. They were supposed to play against Stellenbosch. That game was postponed. I'm guessing it's because of CAF commitments. So there was no game for Masandawana. So it's fine. They relaxed because they actually have an important game against Esperance away from home. So they're going to Tunisia. I think they should be on their way. Interesting points, man. Interesting games between the Pirates and the first game we're going to be covering, of course, which is Orlando Pirates and Polokwane City. Just want to be able to start off where we usually start with the lineup. Very interesting because they were playing CAF just last week. So I was quite interested, who are we going to use, or who are they going to use? Good DSTV Premiership, because also it's an important game, because no game now that Pirates is going to play is not important. It's like playing a final, because they are through to the Nedbank semi-final. They are chasing the league, and also they are looking to qualify for a CAF. So no easy games for them, unfortunately, at this point in time. So they need mileage, they need experience. Where is Saleng? That's my next question. Where is Saleng? Because I think that's one of the things that they are missing at the moment. But you know what? I have faith in Rivero, so I won't judge him too harshly, because I see he's playing with a lot of young kids there. We saw a lot of guys coming through and getting them the nod. Okay, let's start from the beginning, from the back, without wasting too much time. Look at this one. Very interesting, because Patrick Masangani is back from injury. So that's one of the things I wanted to see. But he kept it more or less the same. I would have felt, I don't know what you guys think, I would have felt that he could have given Mbutile an opportunity, because they're not, for me, there's not much of a gap. Sorry, guys, I flew. There's not much of a gap for me between him, Shaina or Chain. So it would have been good to give Shaina a rest, give Buthelezi a run, because obviously you are playing an important second leg semi-final, or quarter-final, if you will, against MC Alger. So I would have thought maybe he would have rested a couple of players. But because probably I wouldn't say there's not enough depth, but this against the Polokwane City, which is very strong, they're also challenging for that spot. So I guess he needed a strong squad. So we have Chain at the back. A young Bogazi keeps his spot. He's been doing well at the moment. Paseko Marco back in the lineup as well. We have Usbisi and Van Rooyen. So this time, instead of a back three, he's playing with a back four. Double pivot, you have Umbata, Makaula, and obviously playing the number 10 role again. Patrick Masangai replaces Suka Ukabelo Dlamini. Rile Mufokeng playing on the left channel. And we have the young Nkota and Mukhopa in front. So it's a 4-2-3-1 for me. By the looks of things, okay, I guess in terms of the approach, because they do have internationals, which is Umapungule and Apolis. I don't know if it's because of the speed or the quality those two players have. But look, man, big up to Pirates. Hey, they really had a solid defensive. What can I say? They were solid defensively. Let me say that. It's Loom. So for them to get the result here, they won 1-0. Just to give you context, Polokwane City were not the threatening. I think they were looking for a counter. Not much creativity. I'm very disappointed by Oswin because he would get chances and he looked not the same as the Apollos of old. So I don't know if it's because of the legs or it's because of the second round of matches, but a lot of players are losing steam. And this is where champions are made, where the last few matches actually count the most. So you see a lot of clubs having this lackluster form. And Polokwane City now, I think the last 5 games, they haven't been getting good results. I think the coach himself is under fire. So Pirates looked to dominate and solidify their gameplay. So obviously, as a big team, you'd expect them to have much of the ball. So they were control of the game. They created not enough chances for me, but they looked threatening more than Polokwane City. And they looked like they were playing a home game because the crowd was quite I think a lot of guys came out for Orlando Pirates, as they should, because it's the second biggest club in the country. Mahupa is usual defensive strike, those runs. I think for me, I've seen that Rivera probably prefers Mahupa because of his defense, him having to come back and assist the other guys. And obviously, it gives Umfukeng and Nkota an opportunity for them to open up a bit more. Okay, I think they're looking for those them to take on more players and be more creative, coming from those half spaces, so they can create enough room and opportunities for themselves. So, half chance that they got from a set piece actually. So, I think Paris deserved this one. Makahula and Bata had a good shift this time around. I think Makahula had a good game, better than he had away from home there in the CAF game. So, no, Pirates were hungry. Mbokazi had an exceptional game. Can I mention that this kid, just to give you context, he was playing DDC football not so long. He was promoted. I think he has 3 or 4, 5 games under his belt. It's not even more than 10. If you can see, it's only 9 teams. Gotten out 3 men of the matches. He's my man of the match as well. And look, I don't know much about him, to be honest, but what I've seen so far is maturity, 1v1s, even if he's the last man. Like, for me, the way he does it, you'd expect a defender who has had so many games, played so many PSL football or senior game, to have that kind of temperament. He's very calm, especially in the run of play. Against Sundowns as well, he had moments where you would wonder, hey, who is this kid? And he keeps on being consistent game after game. And this is what we want from young players at his age. I think this is what we should expect. It's something that we're not used to. I think Mofokeng has given us that. So Umbogazi as well now is giving us hope. Like, okay, look, they're cooking. The Pirates development, they actually are cooking. They don't really need to buy too many players with the same amount of quality that they would need. So, look, Mbogazi, hats off to you. Keep going, and it shows that development football. There's something good that it's actually doing for our kids. So I was quite impressed with him being a new player and coming in at a time where Pirates need the points. They need the points. They can't afford mistakes. And this kid, like he knows the mandate. He knows the mandate, and Usbisi, I think, is guiding him well. So Usbisi got the goal that they needed. I don't think it was an offside. That was a legitimate goal. As much as people might think there was a push from the goalkeeper, the goalkeeper fumbled, and Usbisi was there for the taking. So big up to them. They are closer now to Sundowns than they were before. So we don't know what's going to happen with the Royal AM issue, but hopefully when they take down the points, they shouldn't be that far, bearing in mind that they have 3 games in hand. So it's now getting interesting. It's a 2-horse race, kind of like, we don't know if Downs is going to drop points anytime soon, but for our league, it looks competitive. Congratulations to Pirates. All the best. Still a lot of games. Don't forget, there's still a derby in between the challenge. So what do you guys think, just to leave it there? Do you think Pirates has enough depth, quality to actually challenge Sundowns this time around, to avoid them winning their 8th title in a row? Do you think Pirates can remove the duck off their backs and actually win a title. I think it's been more than 15 years, 18, 15, somewhere there, that they actually haven't won the league. Cups, yes, but the league is something they haven't won. So Rivero, as you know, the club is actually released a statement that they are going to not. He's not renewing. I think he's found another club, so he's not going to be renewing his contract. So maybe that's a good send off from the players to him to give him the league before he leaves. So that's all I have for you in terms of the Pirates game. It's game on. It's game on now. The league is open. The league is open, guys. Now, on to the next game is Kaizer Chiefs versus TX Galaxy. To give you context, Kaizer Chiefs is at number 9 at the moment. They needed the points. They're on 29. We don't know if they take off the points from where I am, they would be on 29 because now currently as they are sitting, they're on 30 points. Had an opportunity again to at least solidify because Arrows and I think it's cheaper. They have 2 games in hand that they haven't played. Chiefs has played 24 games already. And again, they've dropped points where a game could have been wrapped up in the first half. For me, very disappointing. The lineup was quite good. Just to go to that, discuss the lineup as well. Wasn't a bad lineup for me. Ukele was dropped. I'm guessing they're saving him because he had a knock in the previous game. So I think he was saved for the Sundowns game, which they're going to be playing Sunday. It's a semi-final against a very, very tough opponent, which is Mamelodi Sundowns. So Bruce Vuma again goes into the sticks. We've got Solomons. I'm not sure what's going on with the Fosler issue. I guess either it's because of the contract or it's because he's injured. Simango comes in at left central back. We've got Miguel and we've got Cross. So Dove was dropped probably because of the mistake that he made in the previous game as well. Ungobo plays in as an 8 this time around, alongside Umar, the captain. We've got Sereno at 10, Mode on the left, Lilep on the right, and up front we've got the young one, Dile Tubus, back, who actually gave us a good goal. Now, with this game, Chiefs looked very well, looked very clean, very calm. TX Galaxy were nowhere to be found at that time. They had more possession than TX Galaxy. Created a couple of chances, which now again they could have actually buried until Sereno got that very nice back pass, which Dube finished. I don't know who Sereno was going on. He had a good game, but when it comes to finishing, this is where I think there's a lot of divisions in the Kaizer Chiefs camp. There's people who are against the technical team, the people who are for the technical team. All I'm saying is, I don't think the players are prepared well enough because now again, it's like each and every week there's a player who's exchanging. They give the baton to the next player. Now it's not Mark, it's going to be another player. So there seems to be a lot of mistakes, in my opinion, when it comes to Ikeme Kaizer Chiefs. Defensively, I don't know what happened to Miguel. He went out and he came back. I think they were stalling there. Number one, I would mention this. A lot of people didn't pick this up. Msimang had an opportunity to trap the ball. There was no one pressing against the defense from Uvuma. Could have alerted him that he can actually trap the ball and turn or go to the corner to see if there's any pressure. He doesn't do that. He chests the ball, takes it out for a corner. They stall, but the corner still plays. Then Dove comes in. Not sure how did he warm up or anything like that. He's the guy who touches the ball in a very, very, very bad way. There was no pressure on him, by the way. No one was pressuring him, Dove, at the time. It does that, it goes to Umvuma, tries to make a save. Umvuma doesn't even, like, he handling is so poor, it lands on next to Simang. Simang is still idling, he's waiting there. Then Umbuyana from behind hits it home. So, look, for me, I'm not saying the coach is bad. I just think that he has enough quality to maybe prepare the squad a bit better. Because I'm starting to see the same examples in Arthur's time, in Tseki's time, where the players don't look like they're taking this club very serious. Fans are divided, fans are impatient, and we're not expecting, I think there was not an expectation for him to win the league at this point. But again, to not qualify for the top 8 raises a few eyebrows. And how they play, man. Can we talk about how they play? The Kaizer Chiefs plays with a lot of wing play. that doesn't make any sense. They don't have tall strikers, and they use a lot of width a lot, especially now when they are behind. Now we were chasing, we were starting to go to the sides, crossing it, and it didn't look pretty. And this kind of alerts me that that's the kind of way Nabi plays. So I'm starting to doubt that is he the right person, because of the fact that I was thinking we're going to be a ball possession kind of team. We're going to come with a lot of tactics that speak to the players that we have and the kind of quality that you have. We're not saying we have the quality to match a Sundowns, but I'm sure we have a quality to at least be a top 4, top 5 team at the very least. Stop leaking so many goals. Stop making so many mistakes. Stop missing so many chances. And how you create the chances. Are the players equipped? Or, look, we cannot blame the coach for the 2 misses for Misorini. I'm just saying that looking at how things are with the players that are brought in, same story, different script. Same story, different script. It's about the fact that we have to be patient. It's not the same players. We've bought quality here and there. So I think Chiefs, they take 5 steps forward and another 100 steps back because it doesn't look good. Guys, let's be honest, it doesn't look good. So my take on this game doesn't deserve a 1-1. If Chiefs had buried their chances early on, TX Galaxy had no business coming back. And now they almost stole it and actually won. So there's only 4 games left, guys. For me, 24 games in the kind of run that Nabi has, it kind of showed me. And there's a lot of things I've noticed with how the teams is prepared in terms of tactics. And I kind of noticed that we play like North Africans, like it's your wing play kind of approach and system that he's trying to instill. Don't get me wrong, there were points and positives that he came with initially, but now as games as you watch him and as the games run and you start to see game after game, you start to wonder, you know. So I don't know what you guys think. Do you think Nabi is the right coach for the club? They're playing Sundowns in the semi-finals of Nedbank, which I don't think they have any chance of winning. So that's it. I have that's all I have for you guys for this week. Let's see what's gonna happen. And man, yeah, Kaiser Chiefs again seems like they're going to be at number 9 or 10. Don't It doesn't look pretty with 4 games left. And one of them happens to be against the Pirates. And